Hey everybody, KP here. Thanks for tuning in. Wanted to show a little walkthrough of some character animation I did in After Effects. My goal was to make an animated GIF using just shape layers, and decided to use Chicago Blackhawks coach Joel Quenneville as my subject. Wasn't exactly sure about the movement going into it, but as I started to work things out, it kind of became more clear. So there's a lot of different shape layers here, and each one has its own fill color. So I ended up creating a null with some color controls and using expressions to connect those so that I could control the color of everything on the character from one single location. I also added some fractal noise in here to give some texture to the hair objects, but ultimately decided to get rid of that once I started animating, as the fractal noise wasn't moving with it, and I decided the flat look would be just fine. Originally, the idea for animation was to do something with hands and have maybe a sort of stroking of the mustache movement. I was thinking this would make it so that I could give it a really wobbly kind of look to the mustache, but wasn't happy with how the hands looked and the movement seemed boring. So I went in and photoshopped and started to just kind of sketch out some new ideas. And a Looney Tunes, cartoony sort of thing started to come into mind. Coach Q is known as a little bit of a hothead and gets kind of angry and fired up. So I thought having a little cycle of that would be a fun thing to show in this GIF. So here I started to create the smoke or clouds, the steam, whatever you want to call it, that comes out of his ears. Pretty simple shapes with a few keyframes. A lot of times on these I'll use a repeater so that I only have to create the shape once, and then I use a repeater with a scale of a -100 to make it symmetrical on the other side. Looked at some references online for cartoons with steam coming out of characters' ears, and although I thought I had seen that somewhere in my life before, I couldn't find an exact reference, so I just kind of had to wing it and see how it was working and make it look good on its own. I tried to use puppet pins on the mustache to give it some wobbliness, but I was having some issues with that tearing, and I was really just trying to knock this out quick, so I ended up thinking that it was faster just to animate the paths themselves, and that ended up working just fine. So with everything overlapping slightly and everything kind of having a little bit of movement, this really started to come together into a nice little piece. At this point, I started thinking about background. Put him in this environment of the hockey player's bench, and that's pretty much it. After I got that all sorted out, I exported a movie, I believe it was a ProRes, and then I brought that into After Effects, or I'm sorry, into Photoshop to export the animated GIF from there. And here's the final result. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.